Okay, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. Welcome to the second episode of the Tell the World Your Story project, where we talk about parental alienation. Today, I have with me a victim parent, a father of four from Australia, Mr. Stuart Callum. He is going to tell you his story, and it's quite a story to be heard. So, with that said, I'm going to pass you over to him. All is, don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I was born in Queensland, bred in Melbourne from one when my parents divorced. So, and from what I found out later, that my dad had tried to find me and me sibling. So, I'm a victim of this whole thing myself, I guess. Anyway, yeah. Shit, would have been 2003 or probably 2004. I met my now ex-wife in Victoria through a friend who, him and her had a daughter together. Long story there, but he pretty much went, sweet mate, happy for me to go out with her. Within a couple of weeks, she was turned around and went, oh, look, I'm homesick. My parents live in Queensland. Would you come back up there? Would you come up there with me? I went, well, yeah, nothing to hold me back in Victoria, so why not? But at that time, I didn't actually know my older son, who's at that stage was 17. Had no idea where he was. And so I turned around to my stepdaughter's father and went, look, mate, how about you come up with? I'm not going to stop you seeing your kid because I don't know where mine is, and that'd just be a real cunner, pardon my French, but it would be.
Yeah.
And of course, he's like, well, he was on the run from the cops in Toowoomba and all sorts of weird and wonderfuls there. I suggested to him to turn himself in, and that way he won't look behind him. So he come up with. But the whole way it was about his daughter, and when he got up here, he did a 180. Ended up causing a lot of trouble that he ended up with a DVO on him for. But that aside, so basically he shit in my face, his daughter's face, and his ex's face.
Yeah.
Me and her got married. We had 4 kids over the years we were married. Within probably 6 to 12 months, I realised I'd made a mistake marrying her because just the way she treated her daughter was not right.
Yeah.
Like treated like a slave, and she'd make a coffee and not get up and take her own cup to the kitchen. She'd wait for Samantha to pass and go, oh, can you take that to the kitchen, or can you take my bowl through for me? Because she's too lazy to get off her own bum.
Yeah.
But she started doing that with my kids once we had kids when they were old enough, and getting them to do things she should have been doing herself. But yeah, after 11 years almost married, got to the point were the day she turned around and threatened to knock my 9-year-old's teeth down her throat if she lied to her, was the day that was the straw that broke my camel's back.
Yeah.
And within probably 2 weeks, we were started sleeping separate rooms, separated. I moved out, told the kids it was a timeout. She wanted just to tell them that Dad was leaving, and I went, no, you put them in kids' terms so they get what we're talking about. And of course, I waited until I had somewhere to go, and then went, Mum and Dad need time out, as you kids sometimes do, but we can't do it in the same house, so one of us has got to go. And unfortunately, it's me. They took it a lot better than I thought. A few tears, but they understood. They knew exactly why. I think the older two, which were 9 and 7 at the time, I think realised what was going on, because they were the ones that were getting mistreated as well. But anyway, yeah, for the first 12 months, me and her were amicable. I could see the kids anytime I wanted to. I could ring her up on the way home and go, I'm in the area on my way home. Can I stop by, see the kids? Yep, no probs. And then about 12 months in, I was FaceTiming my children one night, and they mentioned this bloke's name, being my stepdaughter's father. And I'm like, well, what's going on there? And they're like, oh, well, Mum turned up at school the other day with him in the car. We thought it was you, but then when we saw her, it wasn't. We sort of, didn't know what to think. I went, oh, yeah, and how do you feel about that? And they went, well, we're scared of him. I went, well, what scares you about him? Oh, don't know. We're just scared of him. Now, as most people know, dogs and kids are very good judges of character. If you saw a photo of this bloke, or saw him walking down the street, you'd cross to a different footpath just to avoid him, because he's looks like the cross between I don't know if you know who Tony Abbott is, but he used to be Australian Prime Minister, I believe.
Yeah.
Cross, big ears, looks like Charles almost, but with the ears.
Yeah.
A cross between him and Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, no, I'm serious. If I showed you a photo, you'd definitely go, yep, that's a good description, because he looks like a scumbag.
Yeah.
And from people that I've spoken to that know him, that's exactly their opinion of him too, because they've been burnt. But anyway,
Yeah.
I wasn't fussed with the fact. I wasn't fussed with the fact they were together. That didn't bother me. As I said to them, they can shag the guts out of each other. I really don't care. It's the fact my children were telling me. It's the fact that, yeah, I know. It's the fact my children were saying they're scared, and not just saying it, they proved it, because my eldest daughter ran away in a 3-month period, ran away 8 different times, and they were all times when he turned up. Yet I'd ring the police for a welfare check and that. By the time they got there, of course, the child was at home, and the mother would just go, oh, no, everything's fine. She's just running away because she misses her dad, which was a load of crap. I was like 90 Ks away, so I was studying horticulture at the time, now qualified, and really couldn't get to her at the time. And then I asked her, can you stop running away at, until we can sort some more stuff out.
Yeah.
But yeah, where was I? After the first 12 months, and he come along, I wasn't allowed at their house anymore. Never got a reason until probably about 4 months later, when I got a knock on the door from the coppers telling me that I had a DVO on me, and in it she was stating I damaged this bloke's trailer or something. And on the day I visited, and it's like, well, they live with an alley down the side of their house. The kids walk along all the time. I reckon it was a child, just a teenage kid that was bored, to cause trouble, whatever. But she had no proof. She went to the police with it, and absolutely no proof. I've never had a copper come to me going, oh, we're inquiring about this or we're inquiring about that. And they just took it as word. So yeah, DVO full of false allegations.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was out studying, I used to be able to come in, pick my kids up on a Friday, take them back to where I was at the time, spend the weekend with them at my house, drive them back. So either drive them back on the Sunday, or she'd come out and pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of meeting halfway. I'd do the trip in, she'd do the trip back, pick them up, whatever. And that worked. But the whole time I was like, no, the kids are still saying they're scared of him. You need to get him away from him, otherwise I'm going to the authorities, to child protection and the police.
Yeah.
And she didn't believe that, and I did. I've had 10 different welfare checks done by the police, and each time I get told that, oh no, everything's fine. Child safety went there, same thing, everything's fine. Well, and my question is, well, if everything's fine, why is my kid running away so many times?
Yeah.
And since then, my eldest daughter ran away twice since. Both times I ended up just picking her up, which then the police come about a week or so later the first time. She was only here for, probably 8 days. And they come, I knew they were coming. I couldn't argue with them, otherwise I would have got arrested.
Yeah.
They took her. Would have been the start of last year, actually. No. Where are we? July. Yeah, start of last year. She ran away again.
Yeah.
I ended up with her for 6 weeks that time. Another recovery order got put into place, and she went back home. She didn't want to. She even told the police, I don't want to go back there. I'm not happy there. I don't feel safe there. They didn't listen. It's like no one will listen to the kids, and no one will listen to me when I'm telling them they're scared. And it's now got to the point that she wants me to have supervised visits all the time. I've had 2 different mental health checks done by my doctor, yet the courts apparently want me to go get one done, another one done, which they're paying, legal aid's paying for, but they're going to still come back with the same result. As my doctor said, there's my anxiety levels I used to have, which was when I didn't know where my older son was, who I now have a relationship with. So
that's great, man. Yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah, just after I moved to Toowoomba, where I live now, the mother contacted me after I opened up my Facebook account, going, "Oh, do you remember me? Your son wants to see you." And ever since, I've known him. And so my anxiety there, and any depression I had for 17 years vanished, just gone.
Wow.
Yeah, he's over in Japan at the moment on a working holiday, study/working.
When you're 17 years old?
No, now he's 29.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, you're going back on.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm going back to 2008.
Yeah, you went back 12 years, didn't you?
2007. Yeah. So, that's a good thing there. And, so the anxiety, there's no, and like I said, I've had 2 done by my doctor. The second one stated I have no, in his opinion, and he's now been seeing me 12 years.
Yeah.
In his opinion, I have no psychological or physiological disorders. Yet that still isn't good enough for a court.
No.
So now I've got to wait until, mid-September for a mental health assessment, which the results don't come back till October 29th, I think.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, before it gets back into court, it's probably going to be December or next year. And at this stage, I get to see my children 2 hours a week, supervised. Some weeks, like this week, I saw them Monday, yet Wednesday, I get a phone call off the child centre going, "Oh, one of the kids is sick again." And, they'll do a makeup visit next week, but the kids then go nearly a full week without seeing me.
Yeah.
And I've now found out my 8-year-old daughter, I know my eldest daughter went and saw a psychologist a couple of times, and now my 8-year-old's now going to see one, all because of how it's affecting them. And, to me, I don't really give a rat's how it affects me. It's how it affects my children, and the fact that when they get older, they're going to end up with more mental health issues than they need, all because of this sort of behaviour.
Yeah.
Yet if I sent her an email, if I send an email trying to communicate that this isn't good enough, why are they always sick, stuff like that, not nasty, just plain. And
concerned,
enough's
basically.
enough.
Yeah, just a concerned parent, right?
Yeah. Well, that's right. But she either says I'm abusing her when I'm not, or I'm threatening her when I'm not, or just doesn't respond. So I'm now at the point, I'm pretty much over it. But when this goes back to court and they go, "Oh, well, the mental health assessment says there's nothing wrong with this fella," I'll be going, "Yeah, exactly. You've now wasted a good year and a half on lies that I told you were untrue, but you won't listen to the father. You never do. The whole system's biased." There's like at this child centre that I visit them at, one of the girls the main girl that supervises, she's fantastic. She's friendly. She, makes you feel welcome.
Yeah.
Yet there's another lady there. You can literally feel the anti-male vibes coming off her. She's like a prison warden. She stands around like a prison warden, and example. I was discussing with my eldest daughter about the fact that her brother, my oldest son, was coming up to visit and wanted to see them. And all of a sudden she's, "Oh, sorry, what was that?" And it's like, I'm sitting there thinking, this is none of your business, lady. Listen to what I'm saying, but there's no need for you to interrupt me to find out what it is I'm talking about. And I turned around and went, "Well, I'm telling her about her brother coming." "Oh, okay." And since then, I've felt, well, next time she asks, if she does, I'll be telling her straight that, giving her a smart ass comment back like, "Oh, well, I was just telling my daughter about my plans for world domination," or
Yeah.
The internal, yeah, or you know, I was just discussing the internal workings of a combustion engine. You know, in other words, saying it's none of your effing business, lady,
Yeah.
because yes, you hear supervisor. Now, unless I mention the mother, stay out of the conversation.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, that's how it should be. You know, it's like, I don't know how it is over there, mate, but here, if I had custody of my children and pulled the shit my ex is pulling on me, I'd have the cops on my doorstep daily.
Straight away, absolutely straight away. I've heard, see, I've
Yeah,
spoken to a
straight
few
away.
people from Australia, and my from what I've gathered, it's so much worse in Australia, man. The whole parental
Yeah, it is.
alienation situation.
And 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 the whole thing is, on the TV here, they're constantly talking mental health and men's mental health. Oh, blokes, talk about it, reach out. If you're feeling down, reach out. Well, July last year, I got to the point over all this that I did feel like a lot of the other blokes out there of just doing myself in. I'm that over it.
Yeah, yeah,
Knowing, even though I know that's would upset the children and that. And weekly, I see posts on Facebook on some of the groups of, we lost another bloke this week. We lost another bloke this week to the black dog. It's ridiculous. But you won't hear that on the news. You won't hear that on TV. Yet if it was a female that committed suicide over it, you'd hear all about it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the whole thing is, I reached out in July last year, mate, through Facebook. My sister then, I wish she hadn't, but she contacted my ex, who then contacted the police to do a welfare check on me. But ever since then, I've been treated like nothing but she's told the courts I'm dangerous. And that's why I need supervision for my children. All because I got to a low point and felt suicidal. Not
Yeah.
not that I actually did anything, not that I got a rope or anything and premeditated anything or went and got a knife and thought about it or held a gun to my head, not that I own one, or anything like that. All I did was reach out to people on Facebook going, this is how I'm feeling, somebody help.
Yeah.
And I ended up talking to people. I got support off friends, family, and mate, compared to what it was like in July last year, so it's been nearly a full year, I'm in 1,000 times better place. I actually feel alive for once. I'm now because I've got health issues. I unfortunately have emphysema. 37 years of smoking ciggy. Yeah, 37 years smoking will do that, but I've quit the ciggy, so that's a good thing. But because of that, I can't no longer do physical garden maintenance work that I'm sort of do. Because I'm a qualified horticulturist, I can, grow plants and that's still physical lugging around soil and things like that. So it's sort of, it's something I can do, but it's something that wears me out too quick. But in all the years I was married, even while I was married, I asked about, because she had a good credit rating and mine wasn't too good.
Yeah.
I said, how about, we invest in an opal cutting machine and I'll start, we'll go down this line. No, wasn't interested.
No.
Didn't see the bigger picture.
Did you feel like you like almost held back in that relationship?
Oh, mate, I've achieved more in the last 4 to 5 years than I did in 11 years married.
Yeah.
I've got a horticulture qualification now, which I didn't do while I was married.
Yeah.
That's been after. I did my opal cutting years ago, but I'm now looking at that, and it's not about how much money I can make out of it. It's about leaving something for my children after I die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like my my older brother unfortunately passed away November last year, and I saw the stuff that he left behind, and I went, no, I'm not leaving that sort of junk behind for my children.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole Hot Wheels collection I'm selling that is going towards, all the funds will be going towards my machine.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of nice bits of opal jewellery that I'm looking at selling. I've got one bloke interested already. Hopefully by this time next week, he'll have that in his hands and I'll have the money. And that goes towards my opal cutting machine. And once I get it, sky's the limit, mate.
Yeah,
it's all about my children.
Yeah.
It's all about my kids, and it's all about, I'll be teaching them how to cut so that when I do go, they don't have just a paperweight. They've got a machine they know how to use, they'll have a safe that's probably half full of cut opal and rough opal, and whatever cash is with it.
That's good, man.
And
You're thinking ahead. You know, you're really thinking ahead there.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that's what I mean. And then tonight on the way home from town, what was the song? Born to Be Alive came on. And it's like the words to that song just said it all. And the other one was what? POD, I Feel So Alive.
Nice.
That's how I feel right now, regardless of what I'm dealing with family stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just not letting her crap get to me anymore, mate. I did that for the first probably 2 years, and it got me nowhere. And now that I've got this more positive attitude, things are happening that I just daily make my head spin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thank God for it every single hour. I'm thank God for what's happened through the day, even today.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how quickly life
I'll be honest,
turn around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'll be honest. I honestly wasn't looking forward to sitting here talking about this because I figured it'd lower my mood.
Yeah.
It did prior, about 5-10 minutes prior to this starting. I was feeling a bit just from where I was down a bit. And I went, no, I'm not letting that get to me. And now, just however many minutes we're in, fine, mate. My mood's back up to where it was when I walked in the house, bouncing, feeling like I could fly.
That's good. Let's not ruin that, but let's revisit a little bit more of the parental alienation thing, right?
Yep. You ask whatever you like. I've covered barely touched the surface on it. That's what I mean. You'd have to have hours.
There's always going to be more to the story, you know.
Yeah.
What point? I've got some things that I wrote down actually, but we'll just. At what point did you make this connection? So parental alienation is it's not a very common term. I've never heard of it anyway until I kind of started getting into it.
No, I went on one of the Facebook pages here in Australia called Victorian Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Which was basically for blokes that mainly in Victoria, but Australia wide as well.
Yeah.
That were having, have gone through dealing with family court stuff and are struggling to find support and this and that.
Yeah.
And because I was getting nowhere with the family courts, I think it was somebody might have suggested finding, going on Facebook and finding a group.
Yeah.
That has something to do with family law and all that. And just through research and that, all of a sudden, I've got a couple other different pages that I'm a member of as well. I think one's something to do with make parental alienation a crime.
Yeah.
Dads or something. It's DADS.
Yeah.
Dots. That's another one. Victorian Brotherhood. But on any given day, I'll be on Facebook and see pretty much the same story over and over.
Yeah.
Ex's made lies up, getting nowhere in family court. One I saw tonight, what was that? Oh, this bloke's ex had started saying he had to have supervised visits, yet there was no court orders in place or anything. They haven't even been to court. And going by his lawyer, that's illegal. Yeah, she's getting away with it.
Wow.
And that's what happened to me. I was starting to get told that I had to have supervised visits, yet there was not a court order in place until she went and got a DVO.
No, that's where you can start to see. You can start to see the control aspect of this narcissist playing out there, right? They start to say and do things that aren't actually official, just to gain some kind of control without going to court.
Yeah. Oh well, like while I was married, my stepdaughter decided when she was about 11. She was 9 when got together, but when me and her mother got together, sorry. But she turned around and wanted to start calling me dad. And we sat her down and went, look, that's a big deal. You cannot go back on this if you do. You can't go back on it. It's something that you don't do. You don't go back on that.
No.
Yeah, 2 years later, she didn't like the rules at home and started calling me by my name again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like my heart had been ripped out, knife shoved in it, and it shoved back in my chest. I got no support off my wife. Except deal with it. Let it go. You'll be right. Get over it.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then after joining a couple of going on a few of the narcissist pages on Facebook, every single thing that they say narcissist does or says is what I dealt with for the whole time I was married.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it. I did not realise it at the time.
Wow.
Yet from what I've heard off people that know her, she's saying I'm narcissistic, and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
Not I might, you know, I'm pardon me. I'm the sort of bloke who would, if there's an issue, like when I was married, if there was an issue that arose, I want to sit and discuss it before we go to bed. End of story. If it came up at 6 o'clock at night, something to do with the kids, we sort it out, we discuss it, and everyone goes to bed happy.
Yeah.
Where I would go, this is what's going on, voice my opinion, and she'd go, oh, I need time to think about it.
Kind of leaves you lingering, doesn't it? It kind of leaves you in the ethos.
Well, when you're still waiting for it to be sorted 3 weeks later because she's still thinking about it, and then you bring it up, and it's like too late. It's just too late.
Yeah.
That's one thing. My grandmother, like my grandparents, were married for 70 plus years before they both passed.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, and that was one thing my grandmother pumped into us kids when we were younger or more young adults, is do not let the sun go down on an argument.
Man, I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot in my years. I've heard that and it tends to come from the elder generation.
Mm-hmm.
It tends to come from the older generation. Yeah.
Be open, be honest. Like, they'd still teach it on Sesame Street. Communication, cooperation, and compromise. The 3 C's. Yeah. Ever since I was a kid watching Sesame Street, that's all they used to pump through kids' heads. The 3 C's of life. If you use those 3 C's, you'll get everywhere.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. What is that again? Let me just write that down quickly. The 3 C's.
Communication, compromise, and what was the other one I said? Communication, compromise, and...
You had it.
Yeah, I had it there. Hang on. I'll look it up on the internet, but I'm...
Yeah, that's right. We've come back to it.
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee you, if you type in a search, what are the 3 C's, or just go back and look at this since you're recording it.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
Yeah, I do like that though. It's very good. It's very good.
But it's just, I mean, I'm dumbfounded. I'm not angry about all this. I'm just dumbfounded, I mean, I even said in an email to it, do you not get it that these kids are going to end up hating your guts because you stopped them seeing their father for no reason whatsoever? And I get back, it's not my job for my kids to like me. It's only my job to raise them as decent human beings. And I responded with, well, how are they going to become decent human beings when all you're teaching them is this is how you treat people? Because you didn't get your way, or you're unhappy with the way it ended. Get over it. Let it go. I threw it back at her, exactly what she'd told me. She didn't like that. I got, stop harassing me. I mean, the only thing I've ever threatened her since we've not been together was going to the authorities because my children were telling me they're scared, and it proved it.
Yeah.
It's just...
So you said, sorry, is it your parents that have passed away?
No, my grandparents. My parents.
Grandparents. Okay, my bad. So your mum and dad's still alive?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. They're in England at the moment.
Oh, wicked.
They're on holiday in England.
Enjoying nice rainy weather.
Yeah, well, mum's originally from Newcastle, Geordie, and my stepfather, who I call dad, he's been my dad since I was 4, so he's my dad as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome, good man.
He's from Edinburgh in Scotland.
Wow.
He hasn't been back to Scotland since he was 19, and he's now in his 70s. So he's sort of looking forward to his first holiday in It's too many years.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my
So
grandparents lived. Like my grandfather lived till 98, and my grandmother till 94. Married the whole time. Yes, they had their up and downs, but they communicated, they compromised, and they showed each other compassion.
and they what was
And
the other one? Come on, you
they,
could have got that out there, couldn't you? They compromised, they communicated, and then you missed the other third C, the third C.
yeah, but they just to me, they were my example of what a marriage should be.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your
Because
what's
no
your
matter
mum
what
and
they,
dad's? Do your mum and dad have any thoughts on this? What have you spoke to them about this situation?
oh, my father, well, he don't talk too much about it. He just, well, oh, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Sort of attitude, just usual
Yeah,
Scotsman sort of response. But
yeah,
no, my mother, considering she's watched me older brother and my sister and my younger brother or half brother, they've all been married and divorced. My sister 3 times, and they've all been about the kids. But well, my sister has, and my younger brother, but my older brother, he went through the court shit fight with his ex.
really.
Um, Even with, well, yeah, that was with his first marriage, and then he got together with a girl. They never married, and they had a daughter, and he still went through the same crap with her. So she's seen it, she's been there, and even she thinks all this is a load of crap.
Yeah,
She knows that she knows that what's being said about me is nothing but BS.
yeah,
It's just and she's, well, it's all right. Don't let it stress you out. It'll come back and bite her. It'll come as a bitch.
yeah,
It'll all come out in the wash. That's what I mean. The second this goes back to court after their mental health assessment, they'll be looking at the two doctors' ones I've got and theirs, and going, hang on a minute. They say the same thing. There's nothing wrong with this fella. What the hell have we been wasting all this time for?
yeah,
They're going to look at her and just go, you have just been lying through your teeth, love.
yeah. Do you have any evidence? Do you have like
Regard,
any kind of evidence to show the courts, to show the systems that she's played games? Like, do you have anything to back yourself up, or is it kind of like your word against hers, or your doctor against her
oh,
doctor?
it's sort of it's my word against hers, but
Yeah,
regardless of if like I've shown them emails of communications where yes, I may have it's, you see, because I can't underline or highlight using a mobile phone when you're doing an email. I will put, if it's enough is enough, it might be in capitals. So
yeah, yeah.
the courts take that as you're being aggressive or
Aggressive.
you're yelling. It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm emphasizing the word that enough's enough,
yeah,
or
yeah,
how about you tell the truth, and truth's in big letters or something like that.
yeah,
But of course, they won't take that into consideration. They'll look at it, but they won't go, "Oh no," or even give you the chance to explain it. They just
yeah,
take it as you're being abusive
yeah.
when you're not.
And often
Now,
it could just be like down to frustration as well, right? Like when you're frustrated, you
well,
sometimes put capital
that's
letters, you know?
exactly right. But you see, we're blokes. We're not allowed to get frustrated. We're not allowed to have feelings, and if we do, we're not allowed to voice it.
No.
Because if we do, you're aggressive, you're dangerous, you're this, you're that. You get labelled with everything. Yet,
Yeah,
if she did it, you know, if
yeah.
she did it,
Do you have any history of like drug abuse or alcohol abuse or anything like that?
oh, look, mate, I'll admit the first probably 4 years after my eldest son was born, I spent 4 years in a bottle.
Yeah,
I was drinking up to about a year, bottle and a half a port, if not 2 bottles a day. Always with cheese, so it got me shit faced more.
yeah, yeah,
Found that was getting me nowhere and making me not feel any good, so I sort of stopped.
yeah,
I still have the occasional, like even today, I've had a bourbon and coke, no problems.
yeah, yeah,
I don't, but I'll only have one or two if I'm lucky, not sit there and drink a full 6-pack in one sitting.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't like that. No, I don't like the hungover feeling.
No.
It's just horrible.
So would
I've
you?
been
Sorry, go on.
sorry, I was going to say I've been a cannabis user since I was probably 17 or 18.
Yeah,
And yes, initially being that young, it was smoking bongs, and it was, all about getting shit faced.
getting it hard. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, getting high and having a good time. But over the years, and especially since the internet's been around, I've studied the actual benefits of cannabis use,
Yeah.
as in medically.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually on full medical approved cannabis oil and flour, which I vape
Nice.
through a dry herb vape.
Nice.
And it works. I've got the reason I'm using it is I have a shoulder issue, right shoulder, just due to wear and tear.
But yeah, so did you
That's exactly right.
sorry, did you so have you had any of your past drug issues or drug whatever you want to call it habits used against you at any point during your alienation?
Yeah, she's now. She's tried to. Like she tried to turn around and use that against me. It was just prior to me getting approved for medical. She tried to, oh, well, I'm concerned that, the kids aren't safe because he uses cannabis. It's like, well, hang on a minute. I just didn't get it because she knew that I smoked it while I was with her.
Yeah.
She knew I smoked it before I even met her. That's how I met her, because her ex was the bloke I was buying me weed from.
Yeah.
That's how I met him. Me and my brother went to a pub. We'd been in this town we were living in for 10 months. We're having troubles that particular week getting some, and we just went to the pub to have a drink, scanned the room. I spotted this bloke, went, yep, that dude's definitely a smoker. Went over to the bar, bought a beer, turned around, sort of bumped into him, said g'day. Bang. He was living in the pub at the time. They had a motel section out back. He was living in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she knew all about it. She had no issue me picking her up from the hospital on all 4 days that the kids were born, knowing that I'd pretty much been up half the night because I was celebrating the fact my kid had just been born, and I'd been smoking and drinking. She had no issue there. But after marriage, oh no, she tried to use it against me, and I just threw it back at the courts and went, look, there's me full medical approval. Go stick it where it fits, mate. You can try use it against me all you want. There's not I know of police officers, lawyers, and well-known businessmen that smoke the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, shit. My old man had the opinion for years that all dope smokers are deadbeats, and I'd turn around to him and go, well, hang on, Dad, does that mean that Seth Rogen's a deadbeat? Does that mean Jimmy Fallon's a deadbeat? Does that mean all these celebrities that have turned around and said that they've used it, are they deadbeats? Hey,
Mike Tyson's he's a big advocate for marijuana, cannabis use.
Yep. James Belushi's now got his own hemp farm, sells it through his dispensary.
Yeah. Joe Rogan's another one. There's loads of them. It's easy to demonize somebody that uses any form of drug, but with ones that are kind of like cannabis, it's one of the easiest drugs to demonize. It's one of the most commonly widely used drug herb. But anybody that uses it, it's so easy to demonize them, right?
Yeah, but it's a stigma that was put in people's head back when it was originally. I mean, do you know the actual history of why it was?
Oh yeah, it's like going back to the early 1900s, right?
Years ago, yes, I'll admit to anybody, I was probably an addict on it. Now, I'm not. I use it for the right reasons and for a purpose. Not just that's not to me. It's not about the getting stoned feeling. It's about just being able to function through the day without anxiety levels going through roofs. Like now, if like Wednesday, I got this phone call saying I couldn't see my kids. I got off the phone. I was upset about it, but I didn't get angry. I did nothing. I just went up. Whatever is what it is. It's just more proof that she's willing to alienate the children from me.
Yeah.
Like I even had a friend, new friend, 3 months roughly, turn around and go, well, can't you just send her an email asking to meet at your local park or something because she's missed out on a visit?
Yeah.
I went, no. I said that'd be nice, but no, she wouldn't.
No.
Like she wouldn't even let the day I found out my brother died, she wouldn't even let me see the children and bring them out here to comfort me.
No, no.
The day I found out my brother was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, which was a year earlier, he got an extra 16 months from what they said. They said 6 to 12 months if he was lucky 12, and he got a bit longer. So, we're grateful there. But even then, even on that week, she refused to bring them out to my property to see me because I was a mess.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to tell them in person, because I was actually talking to them through FaceTime at the time, and they could see I was pretty much in tears and red-eyed, and they're going, "What's wrong, Dad?" I said, "I can't tell you. I need to tell you in person." Mm-hmm. So she, in her wisdom, decided she would tell them.
Oh God, man, taking things into her own.
Yeah, and she turned around and says, "Oh no, he's at least got 12 months or more." So she didn't even get the facts right.
Yeah.
And A and B, it wasn't her brother to be telling, or
No.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like me. It's like if I had the kids and found out her sister was dying of cancer and went and told them, she'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah.
But it was all right for her to do it, but how dare I get upset when she does it? Because I went,
well,
no,
that's how these
wrong.
people work, though, isn't it? They kind of, it has to be their way, one way, that only way. If it's not, then it's not acceptable.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she was like that through the marriage too. I saw that. Didn't take long to realise that, but she wasn't like that before I married her.
No.
Within 6 to 12 months. Within 6 to 12 months, everything changed, and by then I think she was pregnant with my second daughter. So pretty much I stayed for my children at the time.
So how long did
hoping that things would get better.
Sorry, how long was you married for?
Almost 11 years.
Almost.
We were together probably 12 almost.
Yeah.
It was about a year, just over a year after we got together that we got married. But I pretty much packed my life up and moved states just to marry her. That's why I moved. Because I went, no.
So I've got a question for you. When I pointed this sign, Parental Alienation is child abuse, what are your thoughts on that?
100%. It is child abuse because, like I said, my 8-year-old daughter's now having to see a psychologist over parental alienation because they want to, like the amount of times when I've seen them at this child centre, they go, "We don't want to go." She'd cling on to me, scream the joint down, go, "I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I want to go with you, Dad. I want to go with you, Dad." And all of them say it.
Yeah.
It's causing them mental issues and probably behavioural issues too that aren't needed because there's no reason they shouldn't be staying. I mean, mate, when I was 90 kilometres away, I was in a 2-bedroom unit, yet she was happy for me to have all 4 of them in a 2-bedroom unit. Oh, we squeezed in, we made it work.
Yeah, of course.
Yet now I'm on a property that's 95 hectares. And I'm in a 3-bedroom house with a sunroom, so I could turn that into a 4th bedroom if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
They're not allowed here.
Yeah.
It's like they're missing out on farm life, mate. I've got cows. There's 40 odd head of cattle, a couple of goats, probably a dozen sheep, and then of course all the animal and wildlife that we get around here. I get kangaroos and bunny rabbits and owls and the stars. Oh
yeah.
View of the stars out here because there's no light. There's no light from the nearest town because it's too far away.
Yeah.
It's
so I'm sure
amazing.
that's a beautiful place for children to be,
Yeah, but her, apart from, "Oh, well, you felt suicidal and so you're now dangerous" attitude, is she reckons the farm's dangerous because there's some old machinery around.
Yeah.
And I told my landlord that. I mean, my landlords are in their mid-80s. And I turned around and told them that, and they just laughed and went, "You know how many children we brought up on this property?
Yeah.
And not one of them got injured, not once."
Yeah.
She's just crazy. Even they reckon she's nuts. And my landlady, she's like, not long after I first moved in, a lot of trouble. The ex sent the coppers here 8 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
All over messages she deemed was harassing, which weren't, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she constantly, oh, how much longer is this going to go on for you? I'm going, I don't know, June. As
Yeah.
long as, how long's a piece of string? I
Yeah.
said, until either, she, the courts change the minds and say that I can have them, or the ex changes her mind, or she's no longer breathing. One of those things have got to happen before somebody wakes up,
Yeah. Yeah.
before I actually get. I mean, I already know my eldest daughter. She's 14. Once she hits 16, she's already told me, I'm packing my bags and I'm coming to you, Dad.
Huh.
She doesn't want to be there.
That says it all, doesn't it, about the situation? You know.
Yeah. But I mean, tell me, what 11-year-old child turns around to their mother at the age of 11 and like the first thing in the morning going to say, morning, mum, while mum's still in bed, and the mother goes, morning, honey, holds her empty coffee cup up and says, can you go make me a coffee? My daughter turned around at 11 and just looked at her, shook her head and turned around and said, make it yourself, mum. I'm sick of being your slave, and walked out. Oh,
Yeah.
she got in heaps of trouble for it.
Of
Yet my
course.
stepdaughter said the exact same thing. I'm sick of being treated like a slave by you, mum, at the age of 14. She said that.
Yeah. So,
This
what
is
do you
how
think
these kids get treated, mate.
what do you think, in your opinion? How do you picture the long-term damage of parental alienation on a child?
Oh, well, after being through it myself, not knowing my natural father till I was 12, 13, um, having issues. I ended up seeing a psychologist when I was maybe 13 or 14 about that. And not that I spoke much. I used to draw angry pictures. I had to go, here's some pen and paper, draw how you're feeling. I draw people getting stabbed and all
Yeah.
sorts. If you want me to put it frank, it fucks with people, with kids' heads, and it will only end up turning them into adults that have major mental health issues
Mm.
that could then lead them into either trouble or worse.
Yeah.
And I know too many people that agree and have been there themselves, have seen children go. I've seen my nephew's been through it himself, my brother's son.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was alienated by his dad. His mother would bribe him with PlayStation games. Like he'd leave a PlayStation game.
No.
He'd leave it. He'd leave a PlayStation game on pause for like 3 days. Burn a ring in the disc. So
Mm.
she'd go and buy him the exact same game again, and he did that with the same game 4 times. She'd still go out and buy it for him again.
There's no
She'd
teachings
bribe
there.
him
There's
with it.
no guidance
No,
or
no,
anything there. You know.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. All
That's right.
materialistic.
And yeah, it was all about material stuff to her, where my brother would teach him things like gardening. Well, he was a qualified landscaper, so he'd try to teach him gardening, or he'd
Uh-huh.
take him out and teach him about how an engine works, or if this happens with your car, what to do.
Yeah.
And now James is my nephew is so clued on with cars. He's right into the V8 supercars. He's always going to Bathurst.
Yeah.
He's driven the Bathurst Road and everything. But, he's because he was encouraged by his father, yet his mother hasn't. And if you talk to my nephew now, he'll say, my mother mistreated me, and she's the cause of a lot of my mental issues now, because he's not right upstairs
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
And
course.
I don't want that for my children. I know, because I've been there, I've seen it, and I know for fact that if this continues much longer, they will, even if it was fixed tomorrow, they're still going to end up with these mental health issues down the track.
Yeah. It's one of those situations, isn't it, where the damage
Yeah,
can it gets to a certain point where it's irreparable. Like you can still kind of like help them to cope and maintain themselves in a
yeah,
collected way, but once the damage at a certain point is done, it's really hard
it's
to
hard.
eradicate that. You know.
It's hard to come. Yep, hard to come back from. It's taken me years to get to the point I'm at now, where I just I I barely let things get to me anymore.
Yeah.
There's no point. The mental health issues I used to have, I no longer have, and I've got doctor's verification on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I went. Originally, why I went to this doctor was because a friend referred me to him, because I was working for the bloke, and he said, mate, this stuff to do with your son, go and see Doctor So and So. He's good for this sort of thing. And ever since, I've been on the mental health plan a couple of times, and it's helped.
Yeah.
Start talking. Even this helps. Just clear the chest, clear the mind, get it off the chest, and just. But no kid. I don't wish this on anyone or anyone's kids in the world, because it's all sorts of fucked up. But it is. It's just wrong. It's just so wrong. Yet, unfortunately, the people that do this sort of thing don't see that what they're doing is wrong.
No, I think there's like a mixture. I think there's a mixture of people out there that maybe know what they're doing, but don't care.
But they just don't care. Yeah. Well, well, this whole thing. She sees the kids every day. She sees how it's affecting them. Yet, all she has to do is let them see me properly. Let them have their weekends back, and they'll be happy again.
Yeah. But she won't do that though, because then that would be giving you control. She's giving up her power.
Yeah, she's got all the power because she's got the kids. Yet, like I said, if I had the kids and was doing this, I'd have the cops on my doorstep every day or every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just wrong. It's
so
just
what's your situation now? Where are you kind of going now with everything?
Well, family law wise, it's got to wait until mid September for this mental health assessment.
Yeah.
Once they get their results back, they decide when it goes back to court. Like I said, it could be after Christmas next year, into the new year. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
And then the courts will come up with some sort of decision, because I think they're over it too. By the sound of the judge. But you see, the problem's been, because of the whole COVID thing, it's all been either video or phone.
Yeah.
Through phone. But the last time we were at the jail, it's about a month and a half or so back, we had a court date, and the judge turned around and said, look, I'm going to get this transferred up to where you live, so you can actually attend in person instead.
Yeah.
This makes it easier for everybody, and hopefully we'll get it sorted. But it's still a matter of when.
Yeah.
So my kids keep asking me, when's this gonna end, Dad? We're sick of seeing you at this joint. They're bored.
It's not normal.
Bored. They're willing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not normal for a kid to be seeing their parent in that situation.
No, but they're now at the point that two of them have not turned up on certain visits because they're that bored. It's not they don't want to see me. It's they're that bored. They just don't want to go.
Yeah.
Or they're not in the mood.
Yeah.
Because they do. They just feel uncomfortable. They feel they can't relax.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do fun things. We do colouring. Lately, I've been taking Opalin and showing them, and that keeps them busy, and they just love the colours. Yeah. But basically, bar that, I'm like mentally, I'm actually 1,000 times better than I used to be, and it's positive every day. Get up feeling good, and because I can see the light at this end of my tunnel, which is heading towards trying to start an opal cutting business, it's just daily things, as I said, fall into place. Just seem to fall into place. I haven't hit a hurdle yet. Like last night at the Lapidary Club, there was a young couple there, or probably early 20s, maybe mid 20s. The girl apparently makes jewelry, or she's rehoning her skills in that. She's done it before, and she's apparently not too bad at it. Everything's on its way up for me at the moment, and I'm not going to let her crap and that drag me down, as much as she tries, and as much as it hurts seeing the way it's hurting my children. I can't focus on any of that or that for too long. I've got to keep my main focus where it's going, so that in the end, it's my children that benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because realistically, it's not me that's going to reap the rewards. It's going to be them. It's just I will be the stepping stone for them to get to the point. Because, mate, I've struggled most of my life work-wise and money-wise, and this will set them up. I just want to be able to live comfortable enough. I don't have to be rich. If I was working a job for $1,500 a week, I find that's too much money.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable. Give me $800 a week. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Even one of my old bosses I bumped into today was telling her about it, and she said, "Oh, you're going to go work for somebody else opal cutting?" I went, "Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
You won't find somebody that's hiring opal cutters
No.
because most of the people that cut opal do it for themselves so
Hmm.
that they make the money. That's what it's about."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just opals. There's other stones out there, but opals are the one I'm into, and I just love them.
Yeah.
Like at the
And you
moment,
want to
we've
be able
got a
to do
lot of
something for your kids as well, you know?
well, that's what it all comes back to. It's for my kids.
Yeah.
You only got to go to my Facebook profile, and you'll see I work for myself, for me, and my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
It's all for
absolutely,
them.
that's good. It's a good way of doing
It's
things. Do
it's
you,
and to me, I might cut the opal, but I didn't make the opal. God made the opal.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, it is. I'm not ashamed to say I'm Christian. Always have been since I was probably 8 years old when I got confirmed and baptized.
Hmm.
I don't go to church as often as I used to, but I've still had that faith there that He'll look after me, He'll provide, and that's how I have survived.
Yeah.
This new friend I mentioned earlier, she's turned around and gone, "How do you survive each week?" I said, "Because I've got faith."
Yeah.
It's just when I know I'm low on money, this and that, I don't start stressing because I just know that my phone will ring all of a sudden, or I'll get a message going, "Oh, can you come and do this gardening for me, or can you do this, or can you do?" All of a sudden, I've got the money I needed to get through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny, man. I've been in a similar situation. I've somehow,
Hmm.
despite never having, anything, I've been supported by the system. Don't get me wrong, since I left school, but
Hmm.
I've still struggled. I've still found myself in debt. I've still found myself in, a situation where I'm abusing drugs and I've got no money. But I somehow have I'm blessed, mate. I'm really blessed.
Something, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Somebody's watching over you, brother, because that's exactly what I'm talking.
mm,
When you think the worst is, oh, you're so destitute, this and that, all of a sudden somebody comes along or something comes along to get you out of that situation.
yeah, it's
And
just, it's
you
crazy.
wouldn't be sitting. You're obviously here for a reason because you wouldn't be sitting here now to having this discussion with people like me
Yeah,
if this pop. You're trying to make people more aware of this rubbish and what goes on and how it affects not just us as adults but our children.
yeah,
And more people need to know because
mm,
I've told my story to so many different people that go, "Oh, that's just," and 9 out of 10 of them, "Oh, that's wrong. No, she shouldn't be doing that. That's just
yeah,
wrong."
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, yeah, well, stop telling me. That's what I say to them. Stop telling me that. Go and tell her that.
yeah,
Go and tell her what she's doing is wrong. She won't listen. And even if they did and they knew I sent her, she'd go to the police with it because it says in the DVO I'm not allowed to have anyone in my family contact her or her family about the children.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Don't worry, mate. I've shaken my head too many times over it. Just going.
It's just unfathomable, isn't it? It's just
Mm-hmm. Yep.
hard to
But like I
grasp.
said, if the shoe was on the other foot and I was doing it to her,
Yeah,
well, we'd be the worst people in the world. But it's all right for them to do it. I just don't. No, I mean, I'm not sexist either because it's not just girls that do it. Blokes do it too.
yeah, of course, of course.
It's not just a one gender thing.
Hmm.
So I just, yeah, all I can do is shake my head, go, well, not much I can do as far as I'm concerned. The whole situation's in God's hands now. And when the time's right, my kids will come knocking on my door going, "We miss your dad. We know you fought for us. We know that you were struggling against somebody who was so stubborn it's not funny and XYZ and whatever they say."
Yeah,
And I won't disagree.
yeah,
Even the whole 6 weeks my oldest daughter was with me, she'd sit there, we'd have convos about it, or she'd mainly bring it up though. She'd go, "I don't understand why mum does this. I don't understand why mum does that. And doesn't she know that it's hurting it?" It's like, yeah, I don't get
yeah,
it either, honey.
yeah,
But you can't, as I said to her, I said, when you end up going back to your mum, because you guarantee you will, I said, go and ask her. But she's too scared to talk to her mother about it because her mother
They
won't
won't. They
discuss it.
won't. These narcissistic abusers, they will dismiss and brush everything under the rug, so they don't have to confront themselves in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, apparently, me discussing with my eldest daughter about what the plans were for Christmas 2 years ago was an adult conversation.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'd received a message. I'd been communicating with her mother about trying to organise to see the kids, and my daughter asked me about it, and I just went, well, your mum's message. We've been discussing it. I still don't know what's happening. Is what might be happening, but it's not guaranteed. Let's just see how it lays.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that was an adult conversation to have with a 12, 13-year-old child. Yeah. Yeah, I rolled my eyes back so hard they went back about 3 times before they stopped.
Yeah.
So, and even my daughter was sitting there doing the same. It was just like, are you kidding? It's like, no, I'm not. Sorry, honey.
Do you know what's really? It just blows my mind that when you have these conversations with people, it's insane how much you relate. You're from different places. You're different ages. Actually, that reminds me. How old are you? Sorry.
48.
48. Yeah. It's just crazy how fucking you can relate to so much of it. It's almost as if these abusers, these narcissistic child abusers, are just picked out of the same packet and just thrown onto the earth, and they just cause the same
Yep.
shit everywhere they go.
And what gets me is her father. She calls herself a Christian, and her father's a pastor in one of the churches in Toowoomba, the church I got married in.
Yeah.
And even he treats me. His whole attitude is I'm dangerous. Yet me and him were mates. We
Yeah.
went to men's retreats and all sorts of weird and wonderfuls together. Yet I've even messaged his church going, do you realise I want something done about this bloke because he shouldn't be a pastor. If this is how he treats people that felt suicidal, he
Mm-hmm.
should not be treating them like a leper. There's
No.
no way. And the church want me to come in and discuss it with them, but they want him there as well. And I went, well, considering he tried to hit me last time I seen him,
Yeah.
he started it. I was dropping my kids off. That's another story. But, we ended up with my eldest daughter in between us going, not saying dad stop, saying granddad stop, because she knew he'd started it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost
So
like, oh, I think
she's got the
she
backing.
clearly gets
Yeah.
whatever it is going on from him.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
usually does get passed down from,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that,
She's from
go on.
yeah. Oh, we all know that people like it. I know it's just wrong. I mean, she's from a family that's never had divorce in it. Like her parents have been married their whole lives, so I just don't get it. Even her mother at the time was like when her mother found out that her stepdaughter's father was back on the scene because I went and saw them. I said, "Do you realise he's around my children, and my children are saying they're scared?" Oh no, no, she wouldn't go back to him. I laughed and went, "Are you kidding me?"
Mm.
And then I hear that Christmas that he was invited to their house for Christmas that year. Apparently, but yeah, she turned around and said she wouldn't even let him in her own house.
Mm.
Bit two-faced. But she calls herself a Christian too.
Yeah, yeah,
Not, I got nothing against Christians. I'm one myself, but
yeah,
that to me is hypocrisy.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
hypocritical.
yeah. Well, that's what these
I,
again. It's what these narcissistic abusers are good at. They're good at having this image, this facade. Behind closed doors, they're a complete different animal, complete different beast.
oh
And
yeah,
if
yeah.
you try to expose them, if you try to expose them in any way, shape, or form, they will throw other things at you. Just whether it be, domestic violence or drug abuse or mental health, they try to pile up as much as they can to just get everything away from
Yep,
themselves.
that's right. That's right. And you only got to ask my children; they'll tell you straight. Dad barely even raises his voice when he's trying to tell us off. I
Mm,
don't
yeah,
have to.
yeah,
Like when I had all four of them in the two-bedroom unit, two of them were playing nicely, the other two were playing nicely. Then all of a sudden, two of them started,
mm,
and
mm,
instead of yelling and "Oi!" and carrying on, I was, now guys, you're here to have fun. Calm down, and I'd defuse the situation. I'd
yeah.
keep my voice level, voice low, and
Tone.
I'd
It's
treat
all
them with
about tone,
respect.
isn't it? That
Yeah,
tone and being
yeah.
firm and
Where
just
yeah, and
yeah.
as most fathers, a lot of fathers that I know would do the same, but
If you
Yeah,
if you could,
I've tried to do the right thing. Well,
yeah.
anyway,
Well, I think you have been doing the right thing the whole time, to be honest with you, mate. And
cheers, man.
if you could say anything to your ex in 10 years from now, when your children are all fully grown adults, apart from obviously, yeah,
Yep.
who's 29, but if you could say anything to your ex in 10 years from now, looking back, and let's just say things are going well, um, what would you say to her? If she was to watch this video in 10 years from now, what would you say to
Oh,
her?
I tried to tell you because I already know these children are gonna end up hating her. I tried to compromise. I tried to be calm. I've tried it the nasty way, not real nasty,
I know what
but
you're saying. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, tried it to voice it as frustration or whatever, and I've got nowhere. I may as well talk to a brick wall. I get more sense out of a brick wall half the time. I got 5 more years on you, and I know a hell of a lot more about life than, well, I won't say most, but a lot
yeah,
of people that haven't been in the same situations I have.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
No,
and then what about if you were to, if you had the opportunity to say something to your kids 10 years from now, they watch this video and they've heard everything that you've said, what would you like to say to them? What would you
I
say to
don't
them?
know. That I'm sorry that I haven't fought harder for them. I've just come up against brick walls constantly, and they know though. They know.
Yeah, I think hearing you get emotional like that would just be enough for them to know.
Oh, it's just kills me, mate. This is why blokes end up doing themselves, because the pain's too much.
Yeah,
It is. It's just some days but I just try to swallow it and move on and pray for the best,
yeah.
hope for the best.
Listen, man,
Oh,
you're
I
doing good,
know,
mate. You're
I
doing good.
I know it's going to come. I know, even as my mum said, those kids will grow up. They know the truth, and that's they'll they'll be the ones thanking me for trying to fight and trying to do the right thing to, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's about trying to, making sure they have that proper relationship with me, is the making sure they don't end up with the mental health issues I did, or
Yeah,
others I know did, or my other relatives or friends that have been through the exact same thing and
yeah,
are still going through the
yeah,
exact same thing. Some of them, and the amount of people I talk to about it, they go, "Oh, I know somebody that's going through the exact same thing, mate." But there's other blokes going through a lot worse.
yeah,
It's similar but different,
yeah.
but a lot worse. I saw one bloke's pile of paperwork. He put a photo on one of the men's groups, and it was probably, I don't know, good 30, 40 centimetre high stack of paperwork, and he's gone, mate. That's over $80,000 worth of court fees sitting there. That's how much he spent fighting just to see his children, and he's 8 years, 80 grand. Yeah.
Mad.
Oh, he's finally got access to his children now, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
taken 8 years and 80 grand to do it. And he's like, mate, no one should have to fight that hard. It's just wrong,
yeah,
And even he admitted he'd got to that point a few times of just going screw it and doing himself. But I always come back to A, how it's going to affect the children, knowing their father gave up,
yeah.
and B, considering where I live in the middle of nowhere and my landlords come out every 2 days, I wouldn't want one of them finding me hanging from a tree.
No,
I couldn't do that to them. I
no.
couldn't do that to somebody else, or
The
even
sad, the
them,
sad thing
knocking it.
is, sorry, the sad thing is as well is like, we kind of sitting here today as like representations of how you can continue, you can cope, you can battle through, but man, many fall, many do
Yeah.
actually just, yeah,
Constantly, daily, or at least 3, 4 times in a week, I'll see a post, guys. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm out of here. And you'll always get other blokes come in and don't Don't go there. Let us, if you need to talk, message me, ring me. Here's my number. I'll even comment myself. Now I do. Like I was at that point July last year. Don't reach out to somebody. Get the talk. That's the biggest thing you can do is just find somebody to talk to about it. No matter if they're a health professional or not.
Yeah.
Just talk. Right? But things can get better. You may still be a year down the track like I am and not seeing your children properly like you would like to, but considering the amount of good things now going on for myself, proof that if you do keep going, things will get better or can get better. As long as you pull yourself out of that pit and keep moving. Put the dog back on the leash and keep moving forward, mate, because it's the only thing. That's my advice to anyone that listens to this is to do that. Don't let them win, because you do it, they win. And then they go to everyone that they said that you were screwed up in the head and this and that. See, I told you so.
Yeah.
Prove them wrong.
And
that's my advice to any bloke out there. Prove them wrong.
Who loses? Who loses out of all of this?
Who loses in the end? The children.
Yeah. Nothing to do with that.
That's the bottom line.
Nothing to do with them.
But they're the ones that lose in the end. They're the ones that get hurt the most.
Absolutely.
If you do give up, but even if you don't give up, they're still losing at the moment. My children, they get 2 hours out of 168 hours in a week, aren't they? They're so lucky. But I mean, there's other blokes out there that don't get their kids get no time.
Yeah. Okay, listen, right. I think on that note we should end simply because I think the way that ended was really good. Not because you broke down, but you showed this emotion and you just got on to say some really powerful, strong, positive things. I think that's a fucking good way to end. I
appreciate that.
I think you're fucking awesome, man. I think you've shown some strength,
Cheers,
you've shown a lot of emotion, and
it's taken a lot to keep that strength there, and if I didn't have the faith I have in God, I probably wouldn't be here now, man. Honestly, I would not be here.
Yeah.
Because if my ex knew the amount of times I felt suicidal while I was married to her, mind you, we lived in a 2-bedroom house for 6.5 years, and I had a rope on one of the beams in the garage underneath, ready to go, wrapped around like it looked like it held something up, like I had bits of wood and all sorts over the top of the beams, but she thought that it was there to keep them from moving. But no, truth be known, it was actually a noose ready and waiting.
There you go.
Because she'd made me feel that way so many times that I just wanted, no, fuck it, I'm over it. I'm going to just fuck it.
Yeah.
But I never did it.
Yeah.
I thought about it too many, but if she knew that, it'd be used against me as well.
Yeah, she wouldn't show compassion necessarily. It would be more used as
she's got none.
Yeah.
She don't have compassion, mate. If she did, she wouldn't be doing this to our children.
Absolutely.
She would see how it's affecting them. They would all see, and not just her, but everyone. They'd all see how it affects. If they can't see how it affects the children, and go, well, maybe I should start letting them see their father a bit more, or. They'd actually see their kids improve, not get worse.
Yeah. Well, that's, part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is just to open the eyes of just the unknown people that don't know, but abusers as well.
If it wasn't for people like yourself getting it out there, there's a few people in Australia doing the same thing. There's one of the Facebook pages I'm on. There's a lady that's backing up us blokes.
Yeah.
She's always putting posts on about, actually, I think she might have been the one that shared your post originally. I commented on. So she's always there. She supports a lot of the blokes that are on the page, and she even says that it's all a load of crap and this shouldn't be going on. And how can people do that sort of thing and all that? So, there's a lot of people that it's more getting it voiced, and it's just the sort of thing you don't hear on the news.
No, well, we've got to create our own platform, haven't we, to spread the news, spread the message. So this is what we do.
Yeah, thank God for the person who invented the internet. That's all I can say, mate, because it was back before that. We didn't have any of that. I don't know how old you are, but
32.
It's all right. Well, you probably when you were. Well,
Yeah, when I was younger, I just remember it was just the news. That was the news and newspapers. So you had to find out about the
but
world.
you wouldn't have read. You wouldn't have read about any of this in the newspaper.
No, of course not. Of course not. But that's why I've provided and I've got this platform out here. Because I want people to be able to tell their story and share it with the world.
Awesome. So this will be like you're compiling all the info and videos and all that into sort of like a page or
so I just do these little. Obviously, you're only the second one, but and all my other videos, my street campaigns, I will just basically edit them and then I post them up on the YouTube channel.
Awesome. All right. Well, you'll send me a link to your YouTube channel and that, and let me know.
Of course, man. I'll get on the editing today. I'll do the editing today.
And if you need to talk to me again or have any further questions, I'm available.
Yeah, we'll do it again,
especially, I mean, that's the beauty of going into this opal cutting too. I don't, I'll be working for myself, but B, I'll be available for anybody anytime because when I'm not, I'm at home either cutting or just doing, my housework stuff or relaxing or doing whatever needs done, and then, I might only cut for 4 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You do it in sessions as opposed to an 8-hour shift. You might only do half an hour, give it a break for half an hour, go back to the same stone, work on a different one maybe, and that way you're not going to screw up the stone or lose your color or there's a whole lot of variables and science behind cutting and reading the stone, but it's what I've learned over the years is to take your time with it, don't rush, because if you do, guarantee you're going to stuff it up, which is what I apply to most things now in my life. I've got a joke that goes, don't be Russian, be Croatian, because those Russians never get anything done because they are always rushing into it and being too quick. We're Croatians, they take their time, they're methodical, and they always achieve their end result.
There you go. Don't you
words,
be Croatian.
Words to live by for everyone that's listening to this. I appreciate your time and hope this helps people become more aware and just even encourages blokes not to give up, because I wanted to and I'm glad I never did, because I'll now have the chance to actually possibly leave something for my children, and bar getting to see them, of course, but even if it's only don't get to see until they're 16, they all come knocking on the door, at least I'll be able to go, well, this is what I've been doing and this is all for you, not me.
Bless you, man. Well, I appreciate your time, mate, and telling your story. It takes courage. So thank you. I'll let you know when the video is edited, and I'll send it to you before I upload it, so you can kind of watch it. And like, if you want anything edited, then I can do that. That's absolutely fine. But
awesome.
You're a good man. You're very courageous, very strong, and I like the messages that you've told today for other men out there to gain from. So I appreciate it, man.
Yep. Cheers. Well, as long as it helps somebody, that's all. I'm
sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Whoever.
Yeah. All right, my friends. Well, I'll catch up with you a little bit later on. All right.
All right, mate. Talk to you later. Appreciate it.
Take care of yourself, my friend.
Cheers, mate. See ya.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.